All right, so let's talk about the power and pitfalls of automatic thinking for a moment. So the adaptive unconscious is a master of pattern detection, right? Think about your unconscious. It lets you drive home on autopilot, sense danger in a split second, or catch a subtle shift in someone's tone. So this automatic processing is non-conscious, fast, unintentional, uncontrollable, and effortless. It's especially tuned to negative information like threats, risks, or anything that might harm you. So this negativity bias is a survival mechanism, but it can also make us anxious or overly cautious. With some people, I mean, it's gone haywire. But speed, it's still great. Speed comes at a cost though, right? It's operating quickly, but it comes at a cost. Unconscious is efficient, but it's also stubborn and slow to update its patterns. No, I'm not talking about your partner. We're talking about the unconscious. Once it learns a belief or stereotype, it tends to stick, even in the face of new evidence. This is why biases and prejudices can persist and why we often bend new information to fit what we already believe. So when the unconscious takes over, this is the automatic versus the controlled processing, what you control versus what's automatic. So have you ever performed a skill so well that you didn't have to think about it? Of course you have. That's your adaptive unconscious at work. So once you've mastered a complex behavior, like playing an instrument or riding a bike, you actually perform better when you're not consciously thinking about every move. And then overthinking can actually interfere with the smooth operation of automatic processes. So we've got the automatic thinking, controlled thinking. For automatic, it's non-conscious, it's fast, it's effortless, and it's outside of your direct control. And for controlled thinking, it's conscious, slow, effortful, and flexible. So the unconscious excels at handling the immediate present, while the conscious mind is better at planning, reflecting, and correcting errors. Hopefully, most people do, some don't. But there's no perfect system. I don't have a beef to pick with anyone, but we've all seen it before. But there's no perfect system deciding which mind should handle which task. And this can lead to mistakes and cognitive biases. If you remember, I had a video back, I don't know how many days ago, about cognitive biases, at least one. There was one about 18 biases. You can find it. Just search through, look for the number 18. It's a great video. It's quick and very informative. So let's talk about self-fulfilling prophecies for a moment and the shaping of reality. So the adaptive unconscious doesn't just interpret the world, it can shape it. If you expect someone to be unfriendly, you might unconsciously act distant, prompting them to actually respond that way. This is so real, so true, the self-fulfilling prophecies. If you make assumptions, if you go in with certain beliefs, you will make a part, if not all of it, come true. So if you think someone's going to be rude or mean or bad, you're going to turn them into that. So if you expect someone to be unfriendly, you unconsciously act distant and they respond like that, right? Or etc. This creates a self-fulfilling prophecy and it reinforces your original belief. So our unconscious expectations can literally change the outcomes we experience, often without us realizing it. That's why it's so important to have a positive expectation. So one of my future videos, by the way, will be on self-fulfilling prophecies, maybe even one on positive expectation. And I always bring the science and the psychology into it for you. So these are going to be exciting topics, and I want you to subscribe right now, unconsciously, so you'll be notified when I publish these future videos. So doing before knowing. Let's talk about the developmental insight. So, like, for example, children act on automatic pilot before they can explain why. If you observed young children, very young children, they're on autopilot. The adaptive unconscious develops early, guiding behavior before conscious reasoning is possible. Even as adults, we often rely on our conscious mind to explain actions that were actually driven by unconscious processes. So there are often two systems at work, one that determines what we do and another that tries to explain it after the fact. What is that saying? Like, do first and then beg for forgiveness later? That encapsulates these two systems here. So most of your decisions and actions originate unconsciously. This sense of free will and conscious control is, in part, an illusion. And if you found this exploration eye-opening, please share your thoughts in the comments and let me know what surprised you most about how your mind works. Stay tuned for more deep dives into the mysteries of psychology and the mind.